This is the Farm Monitor. For over 50 years, your source for agribusiness news and features from around the Southeast and across the country, focusing on one of the nation's top industries, agriculture. The Farm Monitor is produced by one of the largest general farm organizations, the Georgia Farm Bureau. Now here are your hosts, Ray DeLessio and Kenny Bergamy.
Yes, another show, another weekend with you, our faithful Farm Monitor friends and family. Ray DeLessio flying solo with you for the next half hour, but as always, we've got a ton of info to digest for you. Coming up, have you noticed cotton prices are trending upwards? That's always a good thing, right? Question is, will they continue to trend in that direction? The Georgia Forestry Commission celebrating a birthday. We'll look back at a century of memories and hear from Director Tim Lowrimore on why the organization has been so successful. And then later, a simple canning session got the wheels turning for this Georgia business owner. As a result, she not only creates fruit spreads that are downright good, they're also good for you. All this and so much more starts right now on the Farm Monitor. After prices fell to nearly 50 cents per pound at the height of the pandemic, cotton has seen a steady rebound due to a number of different factors. Damon Jones reports on why there's been such a surge in optimism and one thing growers should be concerned about.
It's been a rough few years for cotton growers in the state as they've had to deal with low commodity prices, a hurricane, and the recent pandemic. However, prospects are starting to look up as prices have now reached more than 90 cents per pound. While uncertainty in the number of acres planted and crop condition has contributed to the surge, there's one main factor responsible for the rising prices.
Demand's picking up. Demand has been good, so we expect the export numbers, because about 80% of the U.S. crop or more is exported, going to mills overseas. So if the demand is strong, and we're all optimistic and we're saying it is, we expect to see the export numbers validate that.
And they have certainly done just that, as USDA has bumped the projection to 16.4 million bales in exports. That's good news for the growers as they look to price out their upcoming crop.
I think the strategy that most growers take these days is when the market moves up, they market in a stepwise progression. They market a little bit of their crop here. The market goes up, they market a little bit more. The market goes up further, they market a little bit more. Your objective is to get a high average price. If the market goes down, you say, whew, glad I did what I did.
While the price has jumped nearly 80% over the past year and a half, another surge like that is far from a certainty. That's why it might be a good idea for growers to consider locking in that price, especially with so much uncertainty around the world.
If I don't have at least a third to a half of my crop already priced previously, I wouldn't turn down 90 cents. I would go ahead and get at least half priced based on your expected production. But this new pandemic threat, I would say, is the one thing that worries me.
And if it turns out to be anything like the previous one, it could have a major impact on the world markets. But if things continue to improve, the cotton industry could be in for a banner year.
We lost 20% of our cotton world demand during the pandemic of the past year. 20% of your market. We've started to grow. That's caused optimism. That the 90 cents we're seeing in the market today is because of optimism. I cannot stress that enough. Hopefully this is going to end up to be one of those years, very rare years, where farmers are able to get a good crop, yield-wise, and at a very good price.
Reporting from Tift County, I'm Damon Jones for the Farm Monitor.
In other ag news, the Macon County Farm Bureau celebrating their 80th anniversary recently with a cookout at their home office. Visitors were treated to a free lunch and an opportunity to learn about the organization's long-running history. And with agriculture being so ingrained within the community, County President Matt Oliver says it's important to recognize how vital this industry is to the surrounding areas.
Agriculture is the largest industry here in Macon County. Macon County is an extremely diverse county when it comes to agriculture. We have chickens, pecans, cotton, peanuts, peaches. The list just goes on and on. So it's very important to our county and to our local economy.
Meantime, if you have a dream and the determination to go along with it, you can do just about anything. So they say, right? Well, that was certainly the case for the Taylor family in Northwest Georgia, who decided to add some colorful variety to their farm. Our John Holcomb reports from Catoosa County on the flower-growing sisters known as the Flower Chicks.
Flowers as far as the eyes can see, and sisterhood. That's the foundation of this farm family in Ringgold, who grows flowers on their family farm. It was a venture they set out to do a few years back and have made a name for themselves as the Flower Chicks.
We started flowers 5 years ago, and the first year we did on our aunt's on their land, and we started out and we were like, we want to start doing it here, but this was our hay pasture, so our dad wasn't really too keen on just giving us it, so we were like, well, we'll try it out on our aunt's farm and see how that goes. And the first year was well, and then we did it again, and then we were like, okay man, we want to put this on our place. So we finally convinced our dad that we could have an acre of this place to farm on, and we started doing it and it went well. And then the next year we were like, can we add another acre? And then he was like, okay, well yeah, let's do it. Y'all are proving that you want to do it, so let's do it. And so we did it. We added it to another acre, and then now it's like up to 3 acres. And so we're really blessed with it. It's done very well, and I'm very proud of how it's went.
As you can see, they grow several different varieties of flowers, and just as you would imagine, it can take quite some time to pick them when you're having to do it one at a time.
We'll pick for about 8 hours a day. And that's all of us. So that's like 4 to 6 people. Sometimes like 2 of us will step out and start arranging beforehand, because the arranging process takes us a bit of time. But picking in itself, we probably spend 20 hours a week picking.
Over the last few years, they've created quite a name for themselves and are known and expected at local farmers markets in the area.
Once we harvest them, that usually takes a day or 2 to harvest everything we have in the field now. We will arrange them. So we do sunflower bouquets. We'll usually put like 12 in a bunch. And then with all the other flowers, we turn them into bouquets. We sell them at farmers markets. So we go to the downtown Dalton Farmers Market, and then as well as the Rabbit Valley Farmers Market. And then we're always trying different ones just so we have different avenues of selling them. And then sometimes we'll sell them wholesale for like parties or unarranged to like florists and things like that.
In the end, they're just happy that they're able to work alongside each other on their family's farm and say they wouldn't have it any other way.
It's a lot of fun just to come out here and see all these flowers and just see like what God has blessed us with. And I love getting to work with my sisters, and I love coming out here every day, seeing the flowers and just working with my family and just enjoying the farm and really helping out with the farm too. I love the farm, so I love that we're able to work with it.
Reporting in Ringgold for the Farm Monitor, I'm John Holcomb.
After the break, a conversation with Georgia Forestry Commission Director and State Forester Tim Lowrimore. He shares some things about the agency that may surprise you.
Hey guys, my name is Haley and I'm a 3rd year studying Environmental Resource Sciences at UGA's College of Agricultural and Environmental Sciences. Recently, I had the pleasure of traveling with the university to Monteverde, Costa Rica, and the purpose of my study abroad was to visit different Costa Rican sites and study their different practices in sustainability.
My name is Zion Eberhardt. I'm a 4th year biological science major from Ellerwood, Georgia. I had the wonderful opportunity to spend my entire spring break studying abroad in Uruguay.
I'm Charles Urban, and I studied abroad in Pamplona, Spain. I was paired with a local startup company that is doing renewable energy engineering.
Hi, I'm Amelia Payne. I went to Costa Rica to learn all about coffee production, and then I studied abroad again to Scotland to learn about education.
I learned so much about renewable energy in northern Spain, as well as how business is conducted in Spain as well.
I went to the Trocare Primary School to teach about the Vikings, to learn about how to manage a classroom and to teach to serve students.
I also really appreciate taking my classes completely in Spanish, which really helped improve my Spanish language skills.
And that is what study abroad is all about, leaping out of your comfort zone to learn something new.
I will always remember Uruguay as a small country with a big heart.
If you get the opportunity to study abroad, definitely study abroad.
And that has been the most incredible part of being a College of Agricultural and Environmental Sciences student during my time at the University of Georgia. As always, go Dogs!
Yeah, sign me up for all those locations, huh? Well, the next time you're around somebody from the Georgia Forestry Commission, tell them happy birthday. Not them personally, but the GFC itself, who turns 100 this year. To celebrate the occasion, I recently sat down with first-year director Tim Lowrimore, who, if he could, would personally oversee all 24 million acres of forest land here in Georgia. But as you're about to hear from Tim himself, the Georgia Forestry Commission is more than one person. It's a team effort. Well, Tim, talk about your incredible timing. You're named GFC Director and State Forester in year 100 of the organization. From a personal standpoint, how much of an honor was that for you?
Yeah, Ray, it was a tremendous honor for me. I'm a forester by trade, so I look at the role of leading the Georgia Forestry Commission and being the state forester as really a pinnacle type position in our state. And to have the opportunity to come back and really serve our state and to serve this forestry community was just an enormous honor to earn the trust of the Georgia Forestry Commission Board and to earn the trust of the governor to be given this responsibility, because quickly the honor turns into what the responsibility is, and there's a tremendous amount of responsibility serving the state as the state forester.
I know you're well versed in the history of the agency. Take us back to the early days. What is something about the agency that people may not be aware of back then? Give us a little tidbit.
Yes, it's a good question, and I guess I can attribute knowing this to our good staff here that put together our timeline of our centennial and looking back over the last 100 years. And frankly, it was something that I had forgotten about. But looking back in the early 1950s, mid-1950s, our agency started the Georgia Forest Research Council. And it was during a period of when forestry was kind of emerging and the demand for trees and the demand to grow trees in our state was really kind of blossoming. And our agency started that research council that really published some bulletins and dealt with the challenges and dealt with the issues that forest landowners were facing with establishing pine trees and growing pine trees the best that they could grow, insect and disease. And that work went on until the late 1980s. And it really was some formidable and really impactful and good tools that the forestry community and forest landowner base and industry of our state used. And if you look at the timing of that and you look at where forestry is now and what it means to our state, there's no doubt in my mind that work was impactful and really shaped where forestry's at today.
100 years, long time for any agency or business. From where this organization started to where it is today, what has been the biggest change or changes? Has it been technology, the people, all the above?
I think early on in the Commission's history, we used to hire farmers that would be firefighters, and they could farm during the day or farm during, and then they also could go out and respond to wildfires and protect forests from wildfires in their local community as a firefighter. That's not the case now. We hire professional wildland firefighters to serve communities and to protect a valued forest resource that our state and that landowners, frankly, place an enormous amount of value on. Therefore, we place a great value on protecting that from wildfire.
I mentioned the 24 million acres of forest land here in Georgia. I think something that may shock a lot of people, this agency only has 625 people. That is a lot of ground to cover with just 625 people. So how do you guys do it? How do you manage all of that?
It speaks to that responsibility I was talking about a little bit earlier, right? The honor goes straight back to responsibility. And how we do it is those 625 employees get up every day focused on safety, focused on integrity, focused on treating people with respect, using facts to make decisions, and buying into that we're all responsible for our own success. Those principles are evident and have been evident in my first 6 months here with this organization, and I couldn't be more proud of the work that those 625 employees do every day for our state. The value that the state is getting from this agency and from our employees is tremendous. So those are the ways we do it, and I truly believe that will continue. That's my goal, is to continue those principles that have made us successful, and truly feel like our best days are ahead.
Up next, inspired by the go-to book of canning, this Spalding County business owner is now enjoying the fruits of her labor. How local farms have played a part in the success of Georgia Jams when the Farm Monitor continues.
My name is Amanda Radke. I'm from Mitchell, South Dakota. My family raises beef cattle, and in my free time I blog for Beef Magazine and travel the country speaking to agricultural groups about how we can connect with consumers. So we do a lot of things on our ranch. We raise limousine cattle, and this last couple years we started our own beef program. It's called Rad Beef, and so we sell beef in our communities. And then my family, my kids, we all get involved in creating videos, whether it's a recipe or grilling tips or a tour of the pasture, just trying to tell our story and connect with our customers. But my biggest passion is promoting egg literacy and teaching kids where their food comes from. And so the last couple years I had the opportunity to work with some Georgia commodity groups to create some stories, and so I think it's really important to get those stories that actually teach kids about where their food comes from in the classroom, and so that's really a mission of mine, to try to counter some of the propaganda being presented in schools today. We all love our operations. Many of them are multi-generation. It's a family tradition, and we love working the land and working the livestock. But we have to remember that the general public are who we seek to serve, and so they can decide if we're in business or out of business. And so if we're not providing a product that they want, if we're not providing the information that they desire and are seeking out, and if we're just kind of minding our own businesses back on our farms and ignoring who we're ultimately serving, they're going to choose new businesses and new types of farms to support. And so we have to make our case and stay relevant in a culture that's constantly changing and evolving with a customer that's constantly changing, and their needs are changing too. So, you know, I think every producer needs to wear the advocacy hat, meaning they go out there and they tell their story, because the reality is there's 2% of us involved in production agriculture, and there's an opposition out there that's telling our story for us, whether it's, you know, environmental extremists, animal rights activist groups, celebrities, the media. There's a lot of negativity about agriculture right now, and so if we're not sharing our positive stories, other people will do it for us. And so it just really has to be a part of our job description. And so that might be, you know, talking to friends in your neighborhood, in your small town, or it might be sharing videos from your farm on social media. And I think there's no, you know, one right way to tell your story. The important part is just doing it.
Finally this week, although technically not a jam due to its low sugar content, Georgia Jam's fruit spreads are the creation of classically trained pastry chef and Fayetteville native Lori Bean. What started with a bag of grapes and a how-to guide has quickly morphed into a thriving business that caters to not only Georgia customers, but customers nationwide.
Hi, my name is Lori Bean. I am the founder of Georgia Jams here in Griffin, Georgia. So when I started Georgia Jams back in 2012, it was with a bag of muscadines and the Ball Blue Book of Canning that my dad gave me. I said, you know, I think I want to try my hand at making jelly, and he said, have at it. He gave me my great-grandma's tools and that Ball Blue Book, and I taught myself to make jelly. And from there, the love of Georgia was always here in my heart. I grew up in Georgia, and as the seasons turn, the fruits come along. We make now almost 25 low sugar fruit spreads using everything that we grow here in Georgia, so that's our focus. There are a couple of exceptions. Of course, we don't grow cranberries here, but you have to have those on the holiday table. As the business grew, then so did our list of farmers that we work with. So we are always expanding and looking for new farmers to grow the crops that we use. And we've been so grateful over the years to meet so many good people in the agriculture industry here in Georgia. And my mom and I have driven all over this state to pick fruit or to meet the farmers who grow the fruit that we use in our fruit spreads. And we don't do much picking anymore because our organization's a little big for that. We need a lot of fruit. I used to pick all the peaches that went in our spreads, but we sell a lot of peach spreads now. So we no longer pick, but we buy. And we've formed relationships with these farmers over the years, and we're still expanding. We added 2 new farms in the past 12 months that have increased our Georgia grown supplier list, and we're very proud of that. Canning is just one of those things that people probably saw their grandparents do. And it isn't necessarily something that's been popular in the past 10, 15 years, but it's certainly making a resurgence. We hope to continue to bring more people in. I would love to be able to teach classes, but most importantly, we want more people to be able to eat Georgia Jams. We want these low sugar fruit spreads to be all over the country. We're already on the West Coast and all the way up to the north and scaling through the Midwest. We just want more people to be able to enjoy Georgia Jams, and that's our goal.
Lori, thanks so much, and thank you for making this show possible. Take care, everybody. We'll see you next time right here on the Farm Monitor. Have a great week.